Time to. Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. We get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 12th.
I so moved.
We have a second.
Second.
It wasn't in the minutes that I said it sort of at the end that I hoped I'd still be on the board when we celebrate the next successes of the library, but we don't have to have.
Do you want to?
You want me to make that adjustment?
It doesn't matter. I can say it for this meeting. I hope I'll still be on the board as we celebrate success after success.
I have that.
Bill, can you make a second motion with that addition?
Second motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. I don't have a president report, just that, yay, I'm back on the board.
That's a good report.
Yeah, that's a good report.
Easy.
Lisa, Executive Director report.
So first of all, the fiscal year 27 budget. In your packet, there will be the budget itself as well as budgeting notes. We've reviewed this a few times. I just have a couple of additions. We had in revenue, it was confirmed that we have $4,588 in additional revenue coming from the state of Maryland. And we did receive confirmation from Allegheny County that our budget for the upcoming year remains flat funded. So no increase, no decrease. We had a meeting of the Western Maryland Regional Library where they told us some updates for their grant allocations for fiscal year 27. So I'm very pleased to report that there will be an increase of $8,868.28 to include in our upcoming budget. And those will be for marketing, public relations, service enhancement, and delivery costs. Beyond that, I think everything else is the same as when we last reviewed it. The total increase of income over the previous fiscal year will be about $32,000, $32,606. On the expenses side, we have, as a reminder, our insurance costs were able to be decreased by $19,682 from flood insurance. We're not renewing the flood insurance policy for Westernport. So if you notice on facilities repairs, which is 62,000, I moved it into that category for this upcoming year, figuring that that will give us some money to make necessary repairs across the library system. So if we want to buy some paint, if we have different things that we need to fix, that gives us a little bit of money to take care of some of those needed repairs. And then next year we can decide what we want to do with that additional fund. And the wages and benefits category, $66,000, includes the addition of $6,000 in anticipation of the Paid Family and Medical Leave Act, or the Time to Care Act. So if you recall, that is where the library will be required to contribute 0.45% towards a program that essentially provides additional flexibility for employees who need to take time off to take care of a loved one. And so the employees will have a share, the library will have a share. So that $6,000 is budgeted to take care of the library's portion.
And that starts January 1.
We have to start making the contributions in January 2027. And I think that the program itself actually starts the following year in 2028. So they're just working on building their funding. In $67,000 insurance, if you'll recall, we now have liability insurance that we are renewing in fiscal year 27, and we also have directors and officers insurance. So although the flood insurance was removed from our policy. We still had some variance in what we're budgeting just because of adding some different types of insurance that we did not have previous year.
And one of those is the bonding for the treasurer.
By law, yes. And then finally, no changes as far as collections is concerned. We are looking to focus on fundraising related to collections as part of the library master program project. So this budget would enable us to be fine-free. This would be Washington County Library System and Allegheny County Library System are the last two library systems in the state of Maryland to charge fines to patrons. And we are collecting currently about $275 a month in fines. And this is all the drastic decrease in what we collect in fines is due to the legislations that were passed where children's materials became fine-free. So it really just organically has reduced the income that we get from fines. So we feel confident in this budget that we can go fine-free with the rest of the state this year without any negative consequences to the budget. Those are the highlights that I had for the fiscal year 27 budget. Are there any questions or concerns? Right, I guess we need
Is
a
it-
motion.
Is,
Yes, sorry.
I'm sorry. I was trying to formulate my words, but it's not happening. The wages and that kind of stuff, because last year we wanted to make sure that people were making a livable wage.
Yeah.
That is still in.
The plan is that the employees will all receive a pay increase this year.
Okay. Okay. Any questions, concerns? Can we get a motion to approve the FY27 budget?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Excuse me. FY27 hours of operation.
So the next document in your packet is a press release that we have prepared that will make adjustments to the hour of operation for the library system. All library branches will once again be open on Mondays. Evening service hours will expand across the library system, creating more opportunities for programs, meetings, and library access outside of traditional work hours. No library branch will lose service days. The Georges Creek, Washington Street, and West LaPorte libraries will each gain 2 additional service days per week. Overall public service hours across ACLS will increase by 24 hours per week. And library hours will be more consistent across all branches, making schedules easier for patrons to understand and use. The schedule will be Monday and Tuesday, all branches open from 12 to 7. Wednesday and Thursday, all branches open from 9 to 4. On Fridays, Frostburg, South Cumberland, and Western Port will be open. On Saturdays, Georges Creek, LaVale, and Washington Street will be open. Our plan is that we will adjust LaVale's hours first on Monday, July the 6th. And then we would update the hours for all the remaining 5 locations to take effect on Monday, August the 3rd.
Is there a reason? Did I miss it? That we're changing, that they're not all the hours are changing July 6th.
We wanted to give ourselves a little bit more time to inform the public. So with the preparation of all the promotional materials, we thought we wanted to get LaVale's hours changed first because that gives us a little bit of breathing room to cover vacations this summer. But we were trying to give ourselves more lead time to make sure we can get the word out about the changes.
That's recent.
there any questions or concerns about the hours of operation?
Okay, so can we get a motion to approve the new FY 27 hours of operation?
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Our Board of Trustees meeting schedule for FY 27.
Yes, so as a reminder, we don't typically meet in July or December of each year, so we will not have a meeting next month. The first meeting for fiscal year 27 will occur on August the 11th at the South Cumberland Library. So the document in your packet provides the Tuesdays at 4 o'clock, the dates and the locations where our upcoming meetings will take place.
Okay. Capital grants, Frostburg, Georges Creek, Washington Street projects.
At the end of May, I submitted the 3 grant applications for the Washington Street Library HVAC system, the Georges Creek Library roof, and the Frostburg Library roof. Those submissions were due on May 22nd. So I have a schedule for what happens next with the grant application. Tomorrow, actually, on June the 10th, there will be a review team that will be and then they may send some additional questions to us as applicants for those projects. And then by August the 14th, the projects are submitted to the Department of Budget and Management of the state. In September, they're reviewed by the State Library Board, and it just sort of goes on from there. But these are fiscal year 28 projects, so it wouldn't be that these are happening in the upcoming fiscal year; it'll be the year after. You know, I'm pretty excited to get these projects submitted. They are, you know, sorely needed, and I think so far so good as far as moving through the process. I'll keep you posted on as it hits each you know, landmark along the chain. I'll keep you posted about our progress, but we were able to successfully submit all 3 of those projects.
And if we are not approved for those, we will have to find funding for those
We
things
will.
because they're like long overdue.
We will. And as a reminder, the funding formula for the state for Allegheny County, we are fortunate. Some of the library systems have a 50-50 share between the state and the local amounts. Allegheny County has a 90-10. So 90% of the costs of these projects will be covered by the state through these grants. And then Allegheny County government would be responsible for the other 10% match. So we were able to secure the 3 letters from the county with the intent to commit to the 10% portion of each of those 3 grants.
Wonderful.
That's good.
Okay, the August meeting, annual nomination, confirmation of Board of Trustees officers.
Last month at our board meeting, the board approved the new updated bylaws of the Board of Trustees. And one of the sections within that document, Article 4, states that at the first meeting that takes place after the July 1st start of the new fiscal year, the board shall elect one of its members as the board president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. As you know, the board does not meet in July each year, so our next meeting after July 1st will be the August 11th meeting at the South Cumberland Library. So I created this document because in reading Robert's Rules of Orders, there's a couple of ways that we could go about this. It's just exciting reading.
I was going to say, riveting.
So I have put them on the sheet as method 1 and method 2. Method 1, you have a paper ballot where a blank piece of paper is handed out by the teller being the person who would tabulate the results, on which voters would write the name of the candidate of their choice, who need not be nominated. The meeting briefly would pause as the votes are counted and the results are then verbally communicated. So that's method 1, a paper ballot. Method number 2 would be in sequence, starting with the board president. A board of trustee member states a nomination clearly. So for example, I nominate insert name for the position of board president. Under Robert's Rules of Order, nominations do not require a second, although it is allowed. The chair or teller will repeat the nomination and verify if the nominee is present and accepts the nomination. Once all candidates have been proposed and the floor is clear, the chair or teller will make a motion to close nominations, which requires a vote, and then the board will then vote on the candidates. So this is not a paper ballot, it's more verbal. And at the bottom of the document, I just provided the roles and responsibilities of each of the positions that you would be electing as officers. So there's a section for the board president. The new position of vice president is listed there. So for that, if the president is absent or unavailable or declines to act in the capacity of the office, or if the office of president is vacant, the vice president shall have all the powers and duties of the president except as otherwise provided by law. And then, of course, we have the secretary, which the secretary role actually should keep or cause to be kept a true and accurate record of meetings of the board. So if the secretary wanted to take the minutes of the meetings, that is appropriate. If the secretary would collaborate with me as the person taking the minutes, that is also acceptable. And then, of course, the treasurer, and both the treasurer and the board president, as you know, authorizes the payments of bills and signs checks every 2 weeks. So in addition, the board treasurer must be bonded. So if there's a change through the election process where Deb is no longer the board treasurer, whoever assumes that new role, we need to work with our insurance company to make sure that that person is then bonded. So I thought it might be helpful to write some of this up so that, you know, we've got time until August the 11th for you to think about and decide how you want to go about this. So I sort of did a little research and providing this document for your consideration.
Lisa, there's under board president doesn't say anything about the stuff that I had to go through the last 2 years.
Right. How do you want to write?
That's just a side note.
To committees, special
Is that
meetings.
maybe
I think
other duties
you're
as
very
a-
experienced in all of this.
I know.
How would you like to proceed? Do you want to kind of ponder this a little bit and decide at the August meeting about the procedure that you would choose to follow and then proceed to follow that? Or do you want to decide now which of these options that you would want to use? And then we would just set to work in August when we have our meeting, either do it via paper ballot or via the verbal motions.
It doesn't matter to me.
Personally, I think we should decide now. That's my personal thing.
We've always kind of done the verbal, just sort of batted it around and talked about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we're a small board.
Yeah,
I mean, if we were a larger board,
and we know each other.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
think
was going
we
to
should
say.
vote.
Okay, so we have 2 verbals. It doesn't matter to me.
I'll say
Verbal. Verbal's fine.
Verbal, all right, so we're going with method 2. All right, so then I will put that on the agenda for the next meeting and we can talk, but you know, Renee, I think the important thing would be like when the president it goes first, then do you want us to designate another library staff member to sort of be the tabulator of those? Well, we're doing verbal, never mind.
Yeah.
And, no,
You're trying to confuse me.
no,
And it's not like some organizations, if you're not there, they give you a job.
Yeah.
You've got to be there
Exactly.
okay.
because it's right in here. It's saying you must be present. So we're good.
All right, well, I'll put it on the agenda for August 11th.
Okay. Policy, political activity in the library.
In your packet, there is a draft of policy that we've been working on. This covers political activity from the employees side of things, from public service regulations, political demonstrations near library property, and community room use by political candidates and organizations. And then there's also a small section about enforcement. I wanted to float this policy out to you, give you some time to read it over. We can revisit this at the August meeting. The library has not had a policy like this in the past, so this is a new policy. There are a lot of other library systems who have adopted political activity policy. So I think it provides some important guidelines. Fundamentally, at the top of the page, Allegheny County Library System is a nonpartisan government organization. The library does not endorse political candidates, political parties, or political viewpoints. Because the library receives local, state, and federal funding, it's important that neither the library nor its employees engage in partisan political activity while conducting library business. So that's the important part, is while working, as far as the employees are concerned. Of course, we believe in free speech, and I know I have my political beliefs. Everybody has their own political beliefs, but I think that as representative of the library, we want to make sure that we're neutral in how we conduct ourselves on the job. So, as far as the managing community room reservations, we thought it was important to provide some guidelines for all of us that we know how to handle those reservations. So what I would ask is that if everyone could read the policy, and then we can regroup in August and discuss any concerns, any suggestions for changes that you might have, and get to a point where we're ready to maybe make a motion and approve the policy.
Okay. Budget and financial report.
I have an abbreviated version of our normal financial report. I wanted to just highlight a few things. First of all, in 60,000 supplies, we have a total spending of $1,584.13. That includes about $715 for summer with our library event supplies. Also, some funds were spent for the Mary Walsh rededication reflection in the programming category. We had $21.47 in postage, $548.14 for copy paper, receipt paper, and toner, $204.85 for lawn care supplies, command hooks, and electrical switches and plates. In 62,007, 63,007, I'm very pleased to see that in hardware IT spending again this month, we're investing in upgrades to staff and public computers and equipment. There was another $907.68 spent to update the 5 computer monitors, a hard drive, battery backup, adapters, and a webcam. And by the way, I neglected to introduce Shane Drake is joining us this evening for the meeting. Ashley is at a conference, and so Shane will be presenting our statistics later. But I wanted to commend both Jason and Shane. They're the reason why we're able to accelerate the upgrades that are happening for the computers. So that I think that they're doing a great job as far as tackling some of these long overdue projects with computer upgrades, getting rid of those Windows 7 computers, for example. In 64,000, we spent just over $4,000 for the electric and just over $700 in gas across the branches in May. 68,000 collections, we spent $8,072.44 was paid to Ingram for book purchase from our operating, and in 68,500, $7,976.97 was spent with gifts and memorials funds given for collections. And the 3 ladies in the front row are the folks who are responsible for all of that hard work related to collections. So I'm very appreciative of their efforts as well. 68502, Gifts and Memorials Programming includes $2,223.31 in spending using gifts and memorials from the Friends of the LaVille Library, Dr. Ryan Pencil, the Reeves Foundation, American Insurance, and Cumberland Living Arts Festival for the purchase of Summer with Our Library prizes and supplies, and other things like glue, watercolor, paper, and more. And then finally, 69004, the Western Maryland Regional Library Marketing Grant was used for the purchase of Summer with Our Library hand fans and tote bags. And you have one of those tote bags that was given to you this evening. Shay's going to talk to us here in a little bit about what's going to be happening this summer at the library, but we wanted to give you one of our fancy red tote bags to take with you. And then at 69501, the Western Maryland Regional Library Service Enhancement Grant covered just over $6,000 in contract staff salaries. Those are the highlights that I pulled out from the financial reports. I also did just want to point out on the account listing, the third document in your packet, the 10,000-I, the Western Port flood insurance, you will see that that did decrease. That is the funds that we had put in the bank related to the estimate of loss with our claim. We did pay the cleaning bill for the cleanup after the damage after the flood. And so you will see that that balance has decreased. And we're close, I think, to receiving some additional funds based upon the appeal that we filed to the insurance company. Since those cleaning costs came in higher than what the original estimate of loss predicted, it is looking like the insurance company is going to give us some additional funds to help with those costs. So I did, want to point out that, it's a pretty significant decrease of $131,000 to that 10,000-5 balance. I think that's all the highlights that I pulled out. If you have any questions or not.
Lisa, I just have a question about, because that happened, that bill was so high and that company was chosen without discussing it with anyone. Does the library system have its procurement policies?
That is on my list.
Okay.
I have an example procurement policy, and I'm hoping to get that to you so that we do have more, everything from how we purchase things. If we get to the point, moving forward with receiving some of these grants, then we would need to bid projects out, taking a look at how the county handles bids. But, ultimately, I think internally we need to have our own procedures in place for that as well. Yes, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly that we need to have a policy in place so that something like that doesn't happen.
Thank you. Any questions on the budget and financial report? Can we have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Second,
Second.
in favor, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Advancement and engagement.
All right, as I said earlier, Ashley is at the 2026 International Public Library Fundraising Conference, which is very exciting. I'm anxious to hear what she learns. That's in Ohio. So that's kind of right up our alley right now to learn more about libraries and fundraising. So she did provide some notes for me to read on her behalf. The Advancement and Engagement Department had a productive month. Ashley attended the Maryland Library Association conference with a focus on fundraising and advocacy, while also building statewide professional connections with peers engaged in similar library initiatives. Amber represented the library and our department at multiple outreach events, including WEC's presentation, the YMCA Health Fair, the Mental Health Matters Wellness Walk, and the Friends of the Frostburg Library meeting, strengthening visibility and connections across the county. The Advancement and Engagement Department also supported high-level organizational visibility through the planning and coordination of Governor Moore's visit to the Western Port Library at 121 Main, helping highlight continued library service delivery. Internally, the department completed key training goals for new and evolving positions, supporting professional development, organizational structure changes, and long-term succession planning. In addition, staff gathered and reviewed internal feedback on the department's impact, providing useful insights into accomplishments and priorities for future focus. And I will ask Shane at this point if you would be willing to do the financial and statistics. I'm sorry, not the financial. I did the financial, the statistics report.
Yes, Ashley gave me these notes and she said, stick to the script, don't do any improv. So, these are the May 2026 statistics reports highlights. First one would be general usage, where most metrics showed a year-over-year decline, the largest in Wi-Fi usage. Circulation, month-to-month circulation remained strong, still running at an average of 10% over last fiscal year. Visitors, she says, although visitors are down from last year, April was just slightly below the average for this fiscal year, with expected increase in June and July in preparation for summer with our library and expanded hours. On the back, you have the services summary, which highlights great photos from our programs for the month, celebrate stability at LaVale Library, the governor's visit, as well as the 25th anniversary of the Georges Creek Library. Ashley also shared a story about how a simple partnership with the health department to display student-created mental health matters posters made a meaningful impact on a local family visiting the library. That's all I have.
Thank you, Shane.
You're welcome.
Do you want to add anything? I'll allow it.
No,
Okay.
Thank you. Maybe next time.
Forbidden it.
I know. Okay. Any questions, concerns, comments? Okay, can we get a motion to approve the statistics for May?
Make a motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, branch services, Shay.
All right, well, I'll start with our summer with our library slideshow. I'm going to direct your attention to that wall, and I'll try to be nice and loud. So, of course, different ways to participate. Obviously, read, track your reading habits using our reading logs. All ages are able to complete reading logs and are encouraged to complete as many as possibly can. Attend program and events, check the calendar and see everything that's going on all summer long. We are starting our Storytime in the Park series this Thursday at Constitution Park, and both Miss Kate and Lisa will be in attendance at that event. Visit the library, stop by, use a computer, connect resources, play our video games. We're also doing a new entry option this year that I'm really excited about, that we'll talk about a little bit more, but we're calling it Share Your Reads. So basically, it's just a way to earn extra entries for weekly and grand prize drawings by creatively showing what you read. So short book talks, reviews, artwork, or original responses. So there's a sneak peek of the log, and you guys should also all have a copy as well. This have the QR code to the calendar, so you can see the whole calendar events by scanning that there. The kickoff party is next Wednesday at Hoffman Hollow Park in Frostburg. It will be 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We will have games. We have a new dunk tank that Miss Kate will be in.
That's exciting.
It's a small.
Oh,
Yeah, Renee, if you want to come, you could come get dunked.
I could get dunked.
Water dunked.
I could get water dumped on my head.
You about this year to go along with this reading the theme of Honor the Story. That's a nice dinosaur. We'll be doing face painting again with butterfly and dinosaur designs. And then we'll also have Mountain City Center for the Arts doing a special preview performance of their new production, Peter Pan Jr. So for the children's programming department, their main programs for our summer with our library this season again are pretty much the same because they were so successful and strong in attendance last year. We have our story time in the park series, that's Tuesdays and Thursdays all across the county. This year we are adding Dan's Mountain State Park because we're having some repair issues with the parklet at the Georges Creek Library, but it's a really nice space up there, so we're really excited. Constitution Park, Canal Place, Crescent Town, Creekside and Western Port, Rocky Gap. So we'll be all over. Evening Western Maryland, Food Bank, Local Management Board. We'll all be attending select events as well, and free books at every single one of those. We'll be at the fair with free farm animals. We have a Rocky Gap Scales and Tails event. And then we also have 3 indoor story times at the LaVale Library throughout the summer if there's anyone wanting that option. We also have a ton of amazing programs that are being planned and presented by our branch staff. So this coming weekend, we have a Daddy and Me Father's Day Wild West afternoon cowboy themed program at Frostburg. We have a Build a Dino night at Georges Creek, Dinosaur Lantern Craft at Washington Street, Food Safety for Better Health series at South Cumberland, some summer science sand volcanoes. We're doing a Red, White, and Remembered event series that's an oral history storytelling event for the Maryland 250. We have a basic tech support and a fossil craft charm as well. So those are just some highlights, but things going on at all of the branches all summer long. So prizes, we are doing tons of books. So the main change that we're doing with the books in the branches, so the kids will get a book each month. They return a log. So they return a log in June, they can get a book. They return a log in July, they can get a book. And they return a log in August, they can get a book. And we set all of the books up really nicely in the branches so the kids should be able to browse all of them. Kate has been telling everyone it's like a mini book fair. So we really did some more on the merchandising side to try to get that nice and eye-catching. We just finalized some graphics, tote bags for the adult participation prizes, as well as tons of local business gift cards, t-shirts, $5 coffee gift cards, pool passes, fair passes, dinosaur themed toys. So all sorts of that kind of stuff for all ages. So going back to the Share Your Reads thing that I mentioned earlier. So that's just a new, so basically it's an extension activity. So any book that you read, you can do any of these creative responses. So you can, make a TikTok video of you talking about the book. You can do a book review worksheet. You can do a cover redesign or any sort of art related to the book, or any sort of Legos, cooking, trivia questions, anything that is, taking what they read, building on it, sharing it. We want it to be really, really expansive and give people lots and lots of ways to enter and participate. And that is also for all ages. And we'll be doing weekly drawings for these. So each branch, you can participate in the branch, and then every week there will be a drawing for each age group, 0 to 5, 6 to 12, 13 to 17, and 18 plus. So lots of chances to win great prizes there. And then, of course, our wonderful sponsors. Thank you for making this possible. So that is the main thing. We're also doing a new staff initiative that's called Beat Your Baseline, where instead of having the branches compete against each other, we're having them compete against their numbers from last year. So the 2025 summer reading logs returned by each branch, we have that, and then we have different benchmarks and prizes for 50% more logs returned, 100% more logs returned, 200%. So we're really trying to encourage the staff to encourage the patrons to get those logs returned. So that is another new part of the summer reading program that we're doing this year. And then just a couple other things, because my voice is starting to hurt. We are doing a village. We have a program series called The Village, which is a family support group that is a collaboration with Chavez Pediatrics, Apples for Children, Inc., and ACLS Family Support Services. And we have some upcoming events coming up for that in June and July. The next one is June 23rd at Georges Creek at 6 p.m. There's one June 25th at LaVale at 11 p.m. July 23rd, Frostburg at 11 a.m. And then July 28th, South Cumberland at 6 p.m. And there is light refreshments provided at all of those. So either like brunch food or pizza, depending on the time of day. And depending on the number of children, there may be childcare available for those as well. We are working on a new partnership with the Furman Gallery down there in Cumberland. So I went with Renee Mason from the Advancement Engagement Department last Saturday and did branch visits with Tom and Becky Furman and their gallery assistant Megan, and we went around to all the branches and scoped out. We're planning a fall music series of music performances as well as curated in-branch art displays. So that's more information coming soon on that in the fall. But very excited about that upcoming partnership with them. The Red, White, and Remembered event series that I did mention briefly, but I will highlight again. So again, that's an oral history storytelling event for all ages. So I really would love that to be intergenerational, get some kids, get some seniors, and just share 4th of July memories, any sort of memories that, summer memories, anything related to Appalachian history, American history, in celebration of the 250th birthday. So those are all in July. July 9th, Frostburg, July 11th, LaVale, July 16th, Washington Street, July 17th, South Cumberland, July 18th, Georges Creek, and July 20th, Westernport, 121. And lastly, I'm continuing to work with the Frostburg Summer Lunchbox organization, and we are going to be attending the Frostburg Farmers Market and bringing the Meal in a Mug events to the Frostburg Farmers Market on June 26th, July 10th, July 24th, and August 7th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we're preparing for about 150 kids per session at those. So some of the different recipes, hot dogs in the air fryer and beans in the microwave, pizza, quesadillas in the air fryer, smoothies, fruit smoothies using the blender bites, and there's one more that I'm forgetting, but that you get the idea. So those are some things going on here.
That's great. Okay. Lexi.
Don't have much. Well, I do.
Okay.
We have our new hire. She officially started. Her name is Sabrina. She also works at the Furman, is that correct? Yeah. Gallery. She started. She's fantastic. I'm very excited for our future with her. Fund committee is bringing back the customer service award, so that is done. We're doing our years of service awards as well for fiscal year 26 and 27. Those will be presented at our staff breakfast. That is next Monday. It's an opportunity for the staff to have breakfast together. It's for to present their awards. We'll have outdoor activities, indoor activities, or just switch up. just have a couple hours to kind of be stress free, spend some time before our actual summer kickoff. It's summer starting. Restructure, the branch manager job description is finished up. It's getting ready for reviews. We're switching from service leader to branch manager and then working on branch staff, which is going to be branch associate. A lot of work on scheduling and coverage. Open enrollment is finished. And then we did a training at our last, sorry, I'm trying to find it. At our last staff meeting, it was navigating personal beliefs and patron escalation. So it kind of goes in with our policy that we talked about today. We got Ellie, our newest branch manager, registered for Laddie, so she'll be starting that here soon. And then we redid the onboarding training, so it's a little bit different. It's still in the works, but so far better. And then lastly, tomorrow I'm going to the staff development coordinator meeting in Annapolis. Oh, I actually don't know where it's at. It says Annapolis Road, Severn, MD. So that's where I'm going tomorrow. So I'm going to get to meet a lot more people that are working in libraries in the state. So I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
I think going back to branch manager, it doesn't get me better than that because I've never really gotten into the more new term. So it never rolled off my tongue.
I think
I
the
like-
staff members in that position prefer
Yeah.
branch.
It makes more sense
Me
to me.
too. It was time, overtime.
When we had our meeting, we kind of sat down and I was like, what? And then especially when I branched up to, I was like, what do you guys want? I was like, what do you think? Because I felt like service specialist was not really encompassing what they were doing, and service leader was not encompassing what they were doing. So we were just kind of like, what do you want? Let's talk about this, what you're actually doing every single day, and find a title that captures what you're doing. So I think it's something to feel proud about.
Absolutely.
And the public understands it.
I think, yeah,
That's
that, well,
that's
I
never the
understand it
public.
better, so
Yeah.
that's probably saying a lot. Okay. Jason?
Hey, been working on some switch updates, in preparation for a new server that I'll start on soon. Controller updates on all the branches, working on the final 2 branches to get their phone servers upgraded. They're cutting all the copper phone lines, so we have to switch to something else for that. We did, Shane and I completed the Frostburg lab upgrades, and we are working on staff PC replacements.
Well, that was short.
Yep.
Short and sweet. I do want to say one thing. I want to commend Lisa again on finding out a lot of things that we did not know. Not only is she looking into like every source of income, we had a phone call for Carl Schaefer, thank you. Which was enlightening because we didn't know anything about it. We knew it was coming in, but we didn't really know if we had to do something or, so she's really starting to get a handle on everything that is happening, always has answers. And if she doesn't, she finds out. So thank you. Okay, public comment. Do we have any? You don't have fun, Shay. It's okay. It's my exercise for the day, Renee.
Nothing online, so.
Okay.
I just have a couple of kudos and one request. Kudos for the summer program. It's rolling off perfectly. Having been in public education for many years, that gap where kids left us at the end of June and came back like, did you read anything? I didn't read anything. And unfortunately, funding in the public school system dried up. I don't know what Allegheny County did. I know Mineral County, we always did Kids Read Now, where they were kind of the same thing you're doing here. And unfortunately, that the federal funding for that dried up and went away. So kudos for that. Kudos for the increased hours, accessibility. It's the same thing where We had programs in school. We offered them. If you didn't show up, that was on you. It was there. So we can't say it wasn't there. Taking away that. So kudos for the increased hours. As a survivor of the budget committee a couple years ago, one of the things that we struggled with and always wanted to do was increase cost of living for staff. I'm glad to see that's still on and still being pushed. Good there. I agree with branch manager. The other title, I'm not sure what that was. Branch manager works. The request is for the yearly schedule for these meetings to become more public. If that could be the yearly schedule publicized and easily accessible on the website, because it takes a little bit of digging, I think, to get to it. Kind of like the schedule for the summer program is right there in your face. So again, putting it out there so people can say, well, I didn't know anything about it. So thank you.
I like that survivor of the budget committee.
I did want to say that
We should all get badges.
the public schools does have a summer reading challenge. It was just very minimal prizes. But the one thing we were saying is you can read for the public library and read the same book and put it on our list and their list. So hopefully we've been doing it for about 5 years at least. Hopefully we'll get a few participants. The public library always gets more. They have better prizes actually. But I think it's because the school is closed and the public library is open. That's a big part of it too, really.
And I want to make a comment that our budget committee would have been a lot easier if Lisa had been providing the information. There's so much more transparency and actual answers to questions regarding the budget that we can actually see how we can expand hours and give livable wages and still function and have a happy staff. Because I see that every time I go into the branch. Everybody's smiling now, which is really nice. Sometimes I was afraid to go in. Nobody else online, Shay? I'm sorry.
I'll double check. I don't see anything.
I just don't want to. Okay. I
No.
can't see.
No, I think Artie was on earlier, but he didn't leave us any message.
Oh, no messages from Artie. Oh, I
I
know. Okay. Upcoming meetings, remember there's no meeting in July, August 11th at South Cumberland at 4 p.m. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
I so moved. Second.
Don't need a second. There we go.
We did adjourn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear the.
Yeah, most.
Okay.
That was that